Welcome to Response-Able Parenting, the podcast that shows you how to parent in alignment to your emotions, needs, and goals versus your programming, bad advice, and let's face it, outdated strategies that just don't work. You'll get in the trenches support on nervous system and emotional regulation, critical mindset shifts, stronger communication strategies, and more. In this podcast, you'll gain transformational tools that take you from reacting to every frustration to responding with clarity, regulation, and finally setting the example you desire for your kids. I'm Becky Jennings, your new parenting coach, and this is the Response-Able Parenting podcast. Let's get into it. Hello, everyone. You are in for the biggest treat. I already am fangirling out and so excited because we have Dr. Siggie on the podcast today. I have followed Dr. Siggie for years at this point, and everything is just this steady, practical, applicable advice that you just feel so warm and capable in doing. And so I cannot wait to talk to you guys today because she's going to really help us in those moments of when it's not going well, when we're trying our hardest, we're maintaining our calm and the behavior isn't changing. And so we feel this kind of panic in the moment and we swing so far back to authoritarian. And then, we have all that comes from it. We feel guilty because we just took something away. We feel trapped in this pattern, all the stuff that the fallout afterwards. So we're going to really dive into that moment and how we as the parent can really guide and coach our children through those moments versus feeling this instantaneous panic. And we don't know what to do, so we just fall back into the default patterns that aren't serving anyone. So welcome, Dr. Siggie. I'm so excited.
Thank you so much, Becky. I'm very excited to be here. And yes, you are so right. My mind is just kind of firing all the information that I want to share. So I'm happy to be here. Thank you.
Thank you. So everyone who listens to this podcast has a very spicy child. In your F framework, they're the feisty ones. And so we kind of get locked in these patterns. It's like we do expect our kids to know based off how many times we've been in this fight before. We're like, we should be moving past this in a different way, but it never works out like that. And so we jump into the overcorrections. Can you tell us a little bit more about what you've discovered in your research about the overs that we find ourselves in?
Sure. So you started by saying we start gentle and we want to work with them, but somehow we get locked in power struggle. And a power struggle is at eye level. Who's leading who right then? And what we want to understand is that parents have a lot to lose. Children don't. Maybe they do, but they actually don't understand. And here is another sort of key factor. We think they're losing their privileges, their objects, their gadgets, No, the loss is so much bigger in this kind of power struggle. We obviously lose what we feel is the connection, the authority, time, and so on and so forth.
Yeah.
One, we have to understand a power struggle, we're locked in, has nowhere to go but loss. Everybody loses. Children don't know what they're losing. We need to know what we're losing and what they are losing in the mix of it. But what happens as a result is you said another thing, but it doesn't work. And here is where we lose, in a way, our trust and consistency. It doesn't work because instantly we switch to panic. And now we're just kind of grabbing whatever we can, whatever thought comes to our mind, whatever reaction, whatever emotion, any lecture, any punishment. It's like, whoa, let's gain some perspective. What is really happening? True, we cannot move this little one from A to B. We can't. And we lose the trust of us being able to, without reaching to all these other tricks, or they're not even tricks, they basically weigh on all of us and break the system. We need to trust that when we are there, we are not locked in a power struggle. This is no, hey, no, I have to somehow, what is authority? I'm above. And I'm not above because I can intimidate or punish or scare you. No, I'm above because I trust why I am even here. And I know and trust that what I'm doing is the right thing.
Yeah.
That's what I want to convey more than anything. And that sense of trust that I want parents to regain
Mm.
is kind of like at the foresight of what we're talking about. Trust
Yeah.
you can be the authority.
Yeah, I think you and I share that mission at its core because in the heat of the moment when we're hijacked from emotion, it's like we just keep throwing strategy spaghetti against the wall. We're just like, maybe this will work, maybe this will work, maybe this will work. And then when we get to the bottom of our strategies, we've run out. And then you're right. It's like that moment of we don't trust if we can handle this. We don't trust that our child is going to take us seriously. We don't trust they can do it. And so then we grab for the threat. And then we immediately jump into this like obscure line of like, if you don't do that, we just go down this list.
Never.
Oh
Yeah.
my gosh. And we sit there and like, we're saying to ourselves, knock it off, stop. This is going nowhere. You can't follow through, but we still keep going. And I think it's because of that. You're right. The lack of self trust and how much more effective we could be if we were just like, hands up. Okay, we're not doing a great job. Everybody needs to calm down. It's like everybody's hijacked in this moment.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. So, right then and there, it's almost like I want parents to recognize, and you're describing it very well. We're just basically running all over the place in this jungle kind of a place where scares us, kind of like we're lost. We are lost. And you're absolutely right. What we need is to regroup, to regain. Let's just pause because we're losing sight of what is really happening. What are we in this struggle for? Yes, they need to get to bed and before brush their teeth and also clean up because the house is a mess. And yes, so we need to get in the car and get to school. It's all very correct. But the long run, us locking our horns together is not going to get us anywhere.
And it's
And
funny. It's like we just seem to forget
we've
because it's like we've done this dance I talk to parents, they're like, every single night is a disaster at bedtime. It's like, but are we preparing and planning for that nightmare that's going to happen again? Because if it's happened 6 years in a row and every night is a disaster, how can we as the parent come into that situation completely differently? How can we neutralize those moments? How can we set a plan so when the panic sets in, we have something to fall back on versus the same song and dance we do every single night?
Yes, exactly. And that song and dance that we do is based in the fact that we think somehow that our children forget what the task is.
Mm.
Now, they don't forget what the task is. Put your backpack away. You need to brush your teeth, go to bed. They're not forgetting it. They are resisting it. They're fighting it. They're stalling. They're doing all sorts of stuff, but they're not forgetting. And it's based on them as us thinking they don't know what they're supposed to do. So we go into the whole lecture. You need to go to bed so late. These kids are so smart. They remember things from way back. They go to school every day and they have to memorize so much. We think they don't know why they need to brush their teeth. Up to a certain, I'm still going to explain about the whole teeth or bedtime or so. And I just had this conversation with the dad who, to his 11-year-old, okay, so remember, when I drop you off, you do this, you do this, you that. And then she doesn't. I don't understand. We go over it. I'm like, do you think she doesn't know what she needs to do? She's not doing it, I get. I'm not saying it's a good thing, but she's not doing it because you didn't give her the instructions. She's not doing it for all other reasons. So you're giving instructions as if she doesn't know what to do.
Yeah.
Let's abandon that first and foremost. So you can say something like, okay, sweetie, I know you know exactly what to do. I trust you're going to do it. No, I'm not saying that they will, but at least we're a step forward.
Yeah.
And we're also responding to them with a little more intelligence, because my 11-year-old that is like rolling her eyes when I tell her to do the same thing over and over, like, and I forget as a parent, and it's not just 11, at 8, at 6, they go to school, they know exactly what, I mean, 4-year-olds know their cubby hole and they know where to put, and none of them throw their shoes all over the place. And if the teacher says line up or do, so they come home and now they don't remember any of these tasks.
Mhm.
They do. So they're resisting. That's what you need to work with. The
Yeah.
resistance, not the forgetfulness. And you need to constantly give the same set of not just the instruction, the explanation, over explaining the instructions.
Totally. And especially for my audience, because they're parents to ADHD kids, the over explanation, like you cannot send an ADHD kid further away from you by talking at them more and more. So I've developed this framework. Essentially, it's like a code word framework. The code word eliminates the reminder system of like, you have to do this and this and this and this. And then it also avoids that future lecture of like, oh, gosh, you didn't do this again. And how can I trust you and all that stuff? So essentially, we were trying to figure out, my son, we're heading into summer. We're going to be with each other for 6 weeks straight. And just, we're talking about the resistance of like, hey, it's time to turn the TV off, or it's time to transition to any non-preferred task, any of it. So we get a little, no, not right now. Or, oh, I don't want to do that. Or, and it's, to us, it's like, ooh, that didn't sit well, or, ooh, I don't like that, or he's being sassy, or he's intentionally, all the things that flood through our head. So when we were trying to figure it out, my whole goal is like, we're not addressing just the symptoms. I'd like to figure out exactly why you feel so resistant to doing these things. So we were chatting back and forth, and he said, I feel really angry when you ask me to stop something. I said, that makes a lot of sense. And then I said, what about it makes you feel angry? And I was actually shocked. He goes, well, we just have different perspectives of what's important. And I was like, that is very, I mean, he's 9, first of all.
Yeah.
But I was like, that's what it is like, I'm telling you, this is the next thing. You're like, well, that's not important. I can do that in 10 minutes versus right this second. Why can't I finish what I'm doing? That's top priority. And so we came up with this code word. And essentially the code word is like kind of his like, hey, we're going to start doing this. So get your body primed. So it's a sort of like a workup. We're getting you ready to then transition. So we have like a little regulation practice where he can like push against a wall while I prime him up. And then I say, hey, we have to do X in the next 5 minutes. When do you think you can do it? And every single time he's doing it, because he's not, I've heard him. I've acknowledged that, like, hey, I get a little angry, you get a little angry. We do this little regulation song and dance, and then we move on to the thing. And so far, he's like, this works for me. I mean, we'll have to obviously adjust it as things go, but it's this little, like, I think the nuance of not seeing these things as like, gosh, my kid is so disrespectful, or they never listen to me. It's like, they're living right now, in the present. They're not thinking of a future consequence. They're not thinking of like, oh, in the past, this really didn't go well for me. They're like, I'm having a great time right now. It's so much fun. And wait, she's asking me to stop doing this awesome thing to go put my shoes on, to go do a boring thing. I don't want to do that. And the more, like you're saying in the book, is like that we can validate that and then just be like, and it's still happening.
Yeah.
It really creates a different reactivity, because now we're not like, I'm telling you, no, I'm resisting, no, I'm telling you. And then we panic and fall back into punishments.
Exactly. And you said it so very well. First of all, you connected to him. This is actually what happened. You brought up other layers of what is really going on. That is the connection. It's not just do as I say. No, I'm not. It's just this ping pong back and forth on the surface. There's more to it. 2, you're absolutely right. When you say they live in the moment, they are not thinking. And this is a great opening for just the random conversations about, guys, we don't live the same life. We are living somehow in the same house, and we do a lot of things together, but we're not. You guys want to do what you want to do right here, right now. And we, the parents, the adults, have a whole other agenda. That clashes sometimes. So
Totally.
here is where you can create some order. It's true that I tell you what to do and you don't want to. Let's put it out in the open. It's not you're being disrespectful. It's not. It's I get it. Now, parents were saying, well, kids before, when I was a kid, I would never dare, and so on. Everybody's got that somehow, right? Scenario. My dad, my mom, oh my God. I go, you're right. But this is what we did for our children today. We encourage them to tell us everything. But the everything is what we want to hear. No, everything is really everything. We encourage them to tell us everything. I hate you. You mean this? They're telling us, not just, Mommy, you're the best in the world. And sure, I'll do whatever you want. So they're saying what every child ever thought when they, like we all thought things about the telling us what to do. We just didn't say it out loud.
Yeah. Yeah. Totally. It's like the skills that we learned from the modeling that we had, they don't match today's society. It's like this 10 generations back, kids were actually just like, we needed more kids for more labor. Like, it was like, it was like, yes, there was love and connection. And obviously you cared about your kids, but it was like, they helped around the house. They did things like, it was like future factory people, right? It's like, that's really now this is the first generation where we're like prioritizing emotional and mental health. It's the very first time. And we're also in tandem prioritizing for the first time our mental and emotional health. And so it's this really interesting sweet spot of like, how are they, they're not my peer, but we're both working on the same thing. And so like, how do we do this in tandem without losing the plot? Because it's like we swing so far in one moment. The inconsistency is really intense for a lot of parents.
Yeah.
Can you speak to that of like how we're just like trying to do it all?
Yes.
And it's not going well.
Right. Because you said that it swung from children were a workforce or they were expected, and never mind, maybe not all of them were. It doesn't matter. Yes, we know the history, but
Right.
No matter what, children were expected to function, to be functional, to do what they need to do. And functionality in life is very important. But it's true that it seemed as if all these generations sort of like dismissed or hindered or oppressed the emotions. So you have to function no matter what. No, it doesn't mean that. So now we prioritize, like you're saying, emotions. But here's what we're also doing, prioritizing emotions as they are the only thing that matters. So we went from only functions to only emotions.
Yes.
But we are complex creatures. We do have a huge, very complex emotional world. But we also do need to function in spite of our emotions. The whole, I just need to be happy and, follow your heart. I mean, these are all great ideas, but in terms of everyday life, they're not always consistent with functionality, responsibility, determination, navigating challenges, and so on. Because if I just follow my heart or only do what I want to do, I don't know that I'm actually ever going to pay a bill because I don't want to pay my bills, right? It's like, or get out of bed, or so here our children are, I just want to do what I want to do. And we can validate that. You can want, it doesn't mean you always get it, because functioning is also very important. So going back to all these tasks that they have to do, and we keep on telling them and explaining and lecturing and fighting on it. It's like these tasks are minimal. They're simple. They're like every day at school, these kids do these tasks. Okay, they don't brush their teeth and so, but they do major tasks. They're capable. They can. And the emotional world is still there, but it's not one or the other. It's both. The book, by the way, constantly reminds you it's facts and feelings. You prepare your child for the fact we're going to turn the TV off in 5 minutes. That's a fact. That's the boundary. And then you do that and everybody says, and I told them, I said, I prepared, and now there's a whole, no. And I'm like, you have to prepare for the emotional response that this will trigger, that you need to know and understand. So you validate that, doesn't mean you accommodate. So In 5 minutes, we're going to turn the TV off or turn the lights on or off or get in the whatever it is. We're going to do that. And you may not want to. It may make you angry. I get it. Yeah, we still have to do it. And what is the lesson? It's not oppressing how we feel. It's not, I got to do as I'm told or else. No, I have emotions. I'm allowed to express them. Somebody hears me, faces it, reflects, is present. And yet, my emotions don't drive my life constantly because that's the chaos.
Yeah.
If we're all just emotional, we're all a mess. So emotions have a very important place, but you can't constantly rely on them to drive functionality. So that's what you're telling your kids. Your emotions matter. And yeah, we still can actually get out of bed, even if we don't want to, or turn the TV off, even if it's hard. Maybe we can come up with some ideas and ways that help us, but we can still do it. I can feel this and still do that. That's not oppression. That's synchronicity. That's balance. That's navigation, internal navigation and self-reliance. I mean, it's a lot of important skills.
Yeah. Yeah. That's what we work on every day inside the program that I run as well. Is like, you're allowed to feel all these feelings. And especially with ADHD kids, they're running on impulse, impulse, impulse. And it's like, so when we feel this impulse to hit, to scream, to do all these things, totally. By the way, we all feel that too. Like 100%. There are many times when I'm at that tipping point and I'd want to do the exact same thing you're doing. Trust me, buddy. But this is what we're going to do instead. And we actually simulate it. We rehearse it ahead of time, like I was talking, like kind of prime the system, because it's like, you're not going to like it and you're going to feel this. And when you feel this, that's okay, but we're going to go do this.
Yeah.
And it's like, I think we hope as parents that with like the verbal, hey, we're going to go do this and you're going to feel upset. And that's okay, that our kids are going to miraculously be like, you know what? You're right. I do feel like that. And it is okay. And very rarely do we get that. We get the meltdown. We get the pushback. We get the resistance. And I think that's where parents panic, is it's like, wait. I said the script. I did the validation. And we're still stuck here. And so it's like, where do we go in that moment when my kid is quite literally lashing out or punching or hitting or has just thrown something across the room and shattered it because they're upset?
Yeah. So back to the script, as you say. So in 5 minutes, we're going to turn the TV off and you may be upset. By the way, remember, it's okay to be upset. Now, the thing is this, that I have to do some of these conversations, like you're saying, prepping, sort of like dress rehearsal before the real thing, because you can't, while they're like zoning, you're not going to now. I mean, no one's hearing you. You better know that.
Mm-hmm.
Which then what you want to do is only almost like trigger the reminders. So you have to do close proximity. You have to be right there. You know how instead of like being in that power struggle, you're actually present, especially for the ADHD kids. Less words, more just sensory input as much as you can. But let's go back to what I want to build for them in that dress rehearsal or that database. So when we say turn the TV off in 5 minutes, you get very angry. Typically, this is what you do. You lash out, you break down, you throw, you hit. Yeah. Where is my authority? Where I can say, whoa. Now, I'm not saying with all due respect, which people used to say that's dismissive and patronizing, but I want to actually keep that in mind, because what I'm saying has that, with all due respect to how you feel, there are certain things you cannot do. But I'm not saying that, but I'm saying it's totally okay to feel this. Whoa. When you are angry, and you will be, not okay. One, two, to throw, to hit. No. But let's think of other things. You know how I said before, we are wanting them to express themselves, but there is an appropriate way and there isn't, you know. If I say, I hate you, or I slam a door in your face, or I throw something, you know I'm very angry. Not okay. That's not direct, proper communication. But if I say, I get very angry, mommy, when you turn the TV off. And I didn't know. I'm like, I am so angry when you turn my TV. I go, yeah. See, what actually brings up in me instantly is compassion without me having to work at it. I simply get that. And now we're connected. This is validation, not accommodation.
Yeah.
I know you are. And by the way, thank you for telling me. So the fact that they say, I hate you because we told them you can say anything doesn't mean that I hate you is actually a proper way of expressing my anger or frustration or disappointment. That's not. It doesn't even say that. You are angry, use the correct words. You are disappointed, say that. So I want to work on that prior. So then when it's the moment, and I'm not, sending a message across the house, tired, no.
gosh, yes.
Yeah,
They
no,
need
that
the
doesn't.
walls trying to get their attention.
Oh, that never works. And that doesn't work for any kids, by the way. They're all very smart and they know there's a time frame between you yelling the instruction and until it's actually going to happen. They're buying time.
Yes.
They're not like it. They're like, okay, I got another couple of, she's going to say it again. She's going to say it again. She's coming. Yeah. So don't give them those kind of loopholes. Walk and touch and get and say, yeah, remember, 5 minutes to turning off. And by the way, you can get angry. And they're like, you can get angry. Remember, no, yeah, you know exactly. And if I stay close by, I'm not just like leaving the room and I stay close by. That's what I want to practice over and over and be consistent with that. So they're not thinking there are any loopholes in her system. Any moment now, she's going to break down, walk away, do this, tell me that. And meanwhile, they're just stalling and kind of like using whatever they can to benefit themselves.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. And the tactics are endless. They
They're
can,
endless,
they can
yeah.
oh my gosh, I needed to go do this instead. Like my son is a master at, hey, it's time to get ready for anything. He's like, I got to do this first. I got to do this. And then, oh, I just saw this. And I really, so many that you're just like, they're piling on. And like parents are like, okay, patient to a point. I hear that all the time. I'm patient to a point. But part of that is we aren't emotionally prepared for that pushback. Just like we're trying to prepare our children for the plan, we're like, hey, I'm going to validate your emotions. I'm also going to let you know that this is still happening. This is how we're going to get through this process. We do that all for the kid, but we don't do that for ourselves. We don't do that for ourselves at all. We don't say in the moment, you know what? You have every right to be upset right now because this is pushing on your buttons. This totally makes sense to me on why you'd be I call that the expectation gap, where we're just like, our expectations of our children, because we've practiced it, we've done all this stuff, we've like put in all the effort, we've done this strategy, like we've done all this stuff, and then they still don't do it. It's like their reality, our expectations, it's a huge gap. And that's where all that tension, all that frustration lies. And then instead of being like, okay, calming myself down, validating my own feelings, literally doing the exact same thing I've prepared my child for, we react.
Yes.
And we're just like, we go into that same default pattern. And I'd love to talk to you. You have a whole section in your book about not punishing. I'd love to talk about this because, I feel like when we're at that wit's end part, we jump to punishments. Even if we're like, gosh, we know punishments don't work, it still feels like our last tool in our toolbox to gain compliance.
Yes.
But it doesn't work.
It's not that it doesn't work. I would say, of course, it doesn't work.
It's not the best option.
It doesn't work. You all know it doesn't work. But here's the thing. You said it feels like it's our last somehow power. It's actually our weakness. And that's what I want you to remember. It's not a power. It's the moment you reach out, that's it. No dessert, no play date, all these ridiculous things, right? Like, yes, they don't actually work. They don't matter. And again, you can cancel a play date. You have the right as a parent to not give your children dessert. It's perfectly fine. Not as a punishment, just as because this is how it is. That's the right thing. It doesn't work or whatever. But in that moment that you're throwing that, you have to realize I lost just now. I lost. And I lost it. And I lost what I think is my power because I'm dangling all these objects, gadgets, privileges. That's my power? Yeah, no. My power is my connection to my child and absolutely my connection to myself. You're right. Like in that moment where I'm like, oh, I'm going to lose it. No, I got it. I got it. I got it. I got it. Oh, I want to storm out. I want to give up. I want to yell. I want to do all sorts of stuff. I want to say the most ridiculous things. They're running through my mind. That's it. I'm not going to do this. I'm not going to take it. Like, whoa, I'm having a hard time.
Yeah.
It's understandable. This is hard. So back to when we do the dress rehearsal and we build that database and we talk about, what will happen in the moment, we have to make sure, one, that when we are having this kind of conversation, our children are part of the problem and the solution. I'm not just lecturing. So from now on, I can state boundaries. I can say, yeah, this is not, and no, we have to stop. But I want to hear from you. What do you think? What is another solution? What's another way? They absolutely have to be part of the solution process. But back to in the moment, now we practiced and now we're right there having to do whatever it is, and it's not working. We lose the trust as if things are supposed to work exactly according to plan without practice. Because when we planned it, we still didn't have the practice of I'm running on this field and I gotta, I don't know, catch the ball or send the ball. And it takes a lot of legwork and mental work. So I'm losing it because it's not working. Oh, no, I don't know if it's working or not. Actually, I need to trust that this is going to work no matter what, because I got a good plan and I'm practicing. So right there in the moment, I'm about to lose it, go, whoa, yeah, we're still in it. You know how you said in the beginning, let's just all pause. What's happening? So we talked about turning the TV off. We talked about, me coming to you, giving a warning. We said, you're going to be angry. We said, whoa, no this, but then that. It's not quite working. Okay, this is what we're here for. We are practicing. It's not all or none. It's not make it or break it. This is, that's it. It's like life is all about constant practicing in order to work whatever it is that we need to work. It's not working by itself.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh my, that could not be more real. I think it's that in the moment lack of trust, first of all, just that like I think the hopes that we have, we're hoping that this is going to be the thing that changes it all. And like when you get pregnant, you're like, parent, we're going to push them on the swing. We're going to have movie nights. We're going to cuddle. We have like all these really, really beautiful visions of parenting. And those are great. Those sustain us through those harder moments. And there's a lot more harder moments than there are easy moments. And I think, we're kind of sold this like, when are you going to have kids? Kids are great. Like have kids.
Yes.
And
Yes.
that phrase, have kids, they say, it'll be fun. It's so much more work. And it is like, they say if you want to go to therapy, like start your own business, right? And all of your insecurities will come out and you'll have to work on them real fast. That's parenting.
Yes.
All of your insecurities, all of your past hurts are like flood to the surface in the heat of the moment. So it's a lot of, I think we're just in such a breakneck pace of everything. Everything feels like it's like, we see everything on social media. There's like, oh, look at that family. They've got it. Or, oh, it's like the keeping up with the Joneses on steroids is social media. And so we lose perspective that each one of these moments is truly a test. Like we're learning, we're testing. Like if we can look at it, not like from a data perspective of like, that whole sequence of me giving a 5-minute warning and then being further in the room and not coming up and body doubling, like, oh, they actually need me to be right next to them in order to be successful. That's data versus my child is so incapable. It's like we're building and developing skills. And the more that we can maintain our composure, like if we are losing it every few minutes, then we actually have to have like a protocol for us ourselves. Like we have to be really diligent on that of like leaving the space, coming back, doing some breath work, coming back, figuring out where these triggers are coming from. Cause like you mentioned, it's like those aren't my child's to hold and to fix. Those are mine to manage.
Yeah.
And, like, I think about this all the time. Like, I was looking at pictures of my childhood, and I'm like in a plaid, like turtleneck romper. I have like, I have wooden dolls. I have like nothing. Like, it's like I lived on food stamps for years. And so I'm sitting here going, my kid's childhood is nothing like mine.
Yeah.
Nothing like mine. And yet I expect them to know that and repair that. How does that make any sense? But we think that all the time.
Yeah.
Hmm. Yeah.
And we throw it out there, if you only knew, or,
Yes.
you don't know how good you have it. I mean, no, I don't
They're
actually.
like, I don't know what you're talking
No, I
about.
don't. I mean, you can tell me, but not in the heat of the moment. You want to share your stories. There's a time and a place for that. Don't expect me to fully understand what it actually meant
Yeah.
or to even relate to it. No, it's beyond my ability. But back to, us being able to trust them. Like you said at some point, I can't trust you because you said you're not. I don't trust you. No, trust is also building blocks. It's a journey and a process. It's not you have it or you don't have it, right? Like self-esteem and everything. It's not just one thing, it's not an object. So back to, I trust that this is what we're going to work on. I also trust that it may take time. I trust, I know, I'm smart. I have experienced life in so many ways where I know we have to practice anything in order to make it work. So if we just, talk about it, then go do it and expect it all to just like be flawless, I mean, where are we living? That's not life. So I trust that this may not work, but you know what? We're not giving up. We're going to continue because I know and trust that this is what needs to work. Back to, by the way, simplifying. Simple. You have emotions, we validate, we acknowledge, we give them space and presence. I trust that it's going to take time and we're not going to do it perfectly right away. But the system is very simple. Back again to, I know you have emotions. I validate, acknowledge, hear your emotions 100%. I'm present with, having my empathy, containing, reflecting. It doesn't mean I give emotions the right of way all the time and at all costs. Whoa. They have a journey. Emotions need a path. True. And then functioning, tasks, responsibility, accountability, just doing whatever it is still need to happen. So it's this and that. It's not one or the other.
Yeah.
I'm not expecting you just to function. I'm not expecting you just to feel.
Yeah.
I am modeling for you how we do this simultaneously. Sometimes a little bit more that we can have heart-to-heart conversations and moments where we really share. There's a time and a place for that also. Like you were saying, your son right now, or, the suddenly stalling bedtime, for example, is, Mommy, I have to tell you something. And, I hear a lot of times from parents, this is the time when they really share. I'm like, you're right.
Like you don't say.
It's also a time to sort of stall because they're so smart. They know that if they're going to share something personal with you or you're going to be right there at bedtime, who cares? I'm going to, yeah. So everything has a time and a place, and we want to recognize it. And then we don't just function no matter what. We function because it's the right thing, not because I say so, because I'm modeling for you that life needs your functionality for you. This is also your health, right? Mental health is also being responsible, accountable,
Yes.
not keeping up with the Joneses, just doing the right thing for what your life requires you to do.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think, back to that point of like having that discussion with them as opposed to just being like, my way, my way, my way. It's like, I have found that the more I involve him in the solution, like you were saying, he comes up with the most creative ways of
Yeah.
solving this problem. And because it's his idea, there's so much less resistance because he made the idea up. It's like
Yes.
when you allow their voice and their creativity, because like you were saying, they live in the now, which is totally expected, but they also live in this fantasy. They also have really creative ways of solving challenges at their level, right? Where they're
Yes.
at. And so
Yes.
as opposed to being like, hey, this adult way of solving this problem, which is very efficient and it'll get it done, right? Could we take 3 more minutes and solve it in a 4-year-old way or a 7-year-old way, which is really fun.
Yes.
And like, I don't love play. I'm not like a natural player, but at the same time, just even giving like the tiniest bit of whimsy goes a long way.
Yeah.
And when they love the idea, they want to do the idea.
Yes.
So
The magical way.
the
Yeah.
magical-
Mary Poppins way. I hope we all know that when she's snapping her fingers, the toys are not marching into the toy chest, right? But the magical way is somehow we are creative and open-minded to solving problems in a different way, not just our way. You're absolutely right. So hearing your children, and like you were saying, they're very creative. I want to say this. They're very savvy. They have, first of all, built-in abilities to problem solve. So you want to know your children don't need you to feed them all the solutions in the world. They have that ability to think and place things in such a way where they can see maybe whatever a solution from a different mindset, a different perspective. And you know what? If we get there, who cares how we got there? It's totally okay.
done.
It's still done, but it involves them. It gives them, here is the difference. It's not about power. No, don't tell me. It's about empowerment. And empowerment is something very different than power. Empowerment is me relying on myself because somebody's trusting me to know that I'm smart, I'm savvy, I'm creative, I can come up with solutions. No, I cannot do everything on my own. Nobody can. We need camaraderie and alliance and guidance and mentorship. We do. But it doesn't mean we're blank slate. It doesn't mean we don't have, as children, something. So trust your kids, hear them, be inquisitive, not just accusative. How many times do I have to tell you? What kind of a question is that? Who's got the answer? I think 22. I don't know.
Yep. I
Right?
feel like I've asked that question and they're like 6. I'm like,
Yeah.
what do I do with that answer now?
Exactly. Or back to all the privileges. I think we started, I'm not sure, maybe it was before even the podcast. You said something like, parents are complaining, there's nothing more to take. I've taken and taken. Stop taking. Hey, you think they have too many toys? Don't throw them in the moment when you are angry at them. Sort it out. Say, we don't need that much. We don't know, we are done playing with this. We need to donate or do that. It's perfectly fine. But don't reach to that object as if you're dangling it as that is your power. Stop taking things away, even privileges. Again, your power and authority as a parent is to be able to set boundaries. Yeah, no more dessert. Not, that's it. You hit your sister, no dessert. What's the connection there? What's the lesson? What am I actually learning? The one day my parents will still follow me in life whenever I do the wrong thing and they're going to take dessert away from me? Like, or it's not about punishment and reward. It's about trial and error, making mistakes and rising above them, through them, learning time and time again. That's how it's not that I don't trust you, you failed. It's that I trust you're still a learner. Yeah.
Yeah.
Learners need to practice. What can we do? No, this did not work how we wanted. Okay, it's fine. What do we do? What coaches do? Back out there again and again and again.
Yeah.
Right? This is what life is. Yeah. That's what it's built on, determination to continue in spite of. You don't give in and give up. Which is why I say, parents, remember, and I don't want to take away your power if you feel like the objects are working for you. I'm not saying I want you to acquire an understanding if you do feel they don't work. And then know that you do have something else you can do.
Yeah.
It's not about taking or constant bargaining, conditioning with objects or privileges. It's about learning to connect in spite of challenges, to face the challenges.
I'm going to say something you might not expect. Losing it over the teeth brushing battle again with your ADHD child isn't a patience problem. It's an expectation problem. Your child should know this by now. You've had this exact same fight hundreds of times, and they have to do this every single day. But they keep ending up in the same reactive trap, and so do you. Before You Lose It is a step-by-step video workbook combo that helps you get out of this reactive cycle for good. It is available right now. Trust me, this is one worth pausing the episode for. So jump into the show notes, grab Before You Lose It, and feel the shift in under 39 minutes.
I'll just say this, when you are locked in a power struggle with your child, you are each other's enemies. You should never be your child's enemy. You are always on your child's side, but life is the enemy. We should be on the same side. Now, your children have conflicts within themselves, much like all of us. They give in to the want more than the have to. We give in to the have to more than the want to. But it's still a conflict. Hey, I don't want to do a whole bunch of stuff and I have to, right? I mean, and we tell them that, look, I don't want to constantly clean and cook. And we don't have to say it. We just have to let them know. Yeah, it's really tough to always kind of find a way to make things work. That's our job. That's our role. That's our practice. How do we make things work? Not by fighting them and not fighting each other. We're on the same side. I understand the challenges. Turning the TV off for a child, huge challenge. Going to bed, whatever it is, not getting another dessert, going on a play date, doing nothing.
Yeah.
Yes, that's life as it is presented to you, not me presenting life to you. This is just what it is. My role is to help you not fight it all the time, but navigate by being creative, problem solver, right? Oriented towards finding solutions, working together, alliance, camaraderie, as opposed to defiance and opposition.
I think it's such a good reminder of just being like, just even that simple phrase of, yep, this isn't working right now. It's so, I think it's such a beautiful, like, pattern interrupt to just be like, we're doing the thing. It's not working right now. And just even that creates enough of that interruption to be like, okay, I'm taking some of this ownership. You have some ownership here, but it's not working the way it is. Like, maybe we need a few minutes to chill out before we come back to this. And I think just having the grace for self and the understanding that it is more beneficial for us as the parent. We don't lose when we take a pause. We don't lose when we take a pause, because I think we get like, if I don't teach the lesson right now, they're going to think they can get away with whatever they want. No, that's not the case. Like, if we actually stop ourselves when we're escalating, when we're starting to move in that direction, just saying this isn't working. So then it's like, what can we shift? How can I say this differently to you? What do you need? What do I need? It's like we're teaching the fundamentals of being in relationship to others that share different opinions and perspectives and have different needs. And I think it's like, we're just hoping so badly that the moments aren't challenging, but you nail it when you're like, it's all going to be challenging.
Yes, it's very challenging.
Like teeth brushing to bed is a 45-minute challenge. And it's like, we can either approach it as this is going to be awful, or we can say, you know what? The last couple nights haven't really gone well. What can we do differently to make it fun?
Yes, let's talk about it. Let's discuss. Let's brainstorm together, put our minds together. You're absolutely right. And going back to, it is so challenging to parent. And you're right that we think that if I buy all these cute toothbrushes, teeth brushing is
problem.
No, you can have 20 of them. And you know what? You probably do. And neither one of them work because it's not about the object. It's about something else, which is the task. And you have to work with your child and get into their mindset of what is the task. Is it really hard to brush teeth? Or it's just so hard to not get to do what I want at all times? That's really the challenge.
Yeah.
And that's kind of what life. So you're right. It's not me and you locked in this power struggle or conflict. It's me leading you and guiding you to understand the conflict you are faced with. Yeah. And then helping you find the, ways to make it work, to rise above it. So, yeah, we are, not looking for easy way out. And in that moment that we are almost losing it and we have to really strengthen ourselves, right? I got this. I got this. No one said it was going to be easy.
Yeah.
Actually, no one really talked about it not being easy.
No.
So no one ever.
I talk about this. I'm like, my dad ended up being a minister halfway through my life. And then I saw him meditate. But like monks and ministers meditated. Like parents didn't meditate. We didn't talk about nervous system. We didn't talk about emotional regulation, but now that's all we hear. And so it's like, everybody's learning this new language. Everybody's learning how to adapt. And so I think like the moral of the story is like, let's dial down the temperature, because ultimately the more we can reduce that heat, we can actually find the answer in the moment.
Yes.
Find the solution and we can flow versus just feeling like we're constantly hitting, like you said, locking horns over every single question that we ask. Yeah.
And you said something before about the moment, and we think, well, we have to make this moment work. When we talk about just take a pause, well, you're not losing anything. Here's actually what you're gaining, because I want every parent to think, have you ever looked up to a person who's very emotional and reactive at work or whatever, a team, anything, and they are just lashing out? Or, yeah, no, we don't look up to them. Or did we look up to somebody who said, wait, I need to think about it? What you're modeling is thought process and thoughtfulness. You're not lost. When you're all emotional, you're not modeling to your child how we stand and face challenges and kind of like find ways thinking about it.
Yeah.
Out of it. So thought process requires a pause. Not everything is automatic, especially not when we are challenged. So accept that and model to your child, not you losing it and just scrambling to find anything to get out of the situation. Who's going to win? Who's going to lose? But by actually gaining some moment to regroup. I mean, think about what an incredible skill and ability that is to regroup and think about, using your mind to really think, not to react, not to be activated like you are, like something that we press a button and it just goes. No, you're not. You're a human being. So you are complex and you got all that going on, but you have thought process. When you lose your mind, you're not using your mind.
Yeah, exactly. When you flip your lid, it's all gone. It's all gone.
It's gone. So you need time. Thought, by the way, thinking takes time. It's a little slower. Emotions are instant. Thinking is not. How often do we say, wait, let me think about it, right? It's not automatic. It doesn't come to us unless we practiced it a million times. 2 + 2. Yeah, I don't need to think about that. But a lot of other things, especially challenges like, I don't know what my kid is now doing or wanting or what's happening or what's wrong with them. I don't know. Let me think about it. Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Maybe nothing is wrong, but it is difficult. It is challenging. And I need to process something, not to react, in order to come up with a much thought through or thoughtful idea. Yeah. tactic and so on. Yeah.
Oh, Dr. Siggie, this has been such a joy. I feel so in alignment with how you're teaching parents and how you're sharing just this perspective shift of, we've swung so far, but like, let's get back into the middle so that we can actually guide and coach and just be that support for our children to learn the skills necessary to, combat the everyday challenges that life is going to throw their way. Where can people pick up your latest book?
So it's on pre-order right now. The book is coming out September 8th.
Amazing.
Audio and obviously all the other ways. A real book. Right now it's on pre-order basically everywhere. By the way, even your little bookstore, if you have one and you want to support them, they may not have the book physically, but they can order it because they are all going on the exact same sites to see books that are being published. So Amazon, obviously online, Barnes and Noble, go to the store, or our website. There's a book website. So all of the above, it's accessible.
I love it. I love it. And if you are one of the one person in the world not already following Dr. Siggie, go follow her as well. She has incredible advice all the time. So this was such a pleasure. Thank you so much. I know my audience is just going to feel so filled up by your support. So thank you for taking the time. I so appreciate it. And everybody go grab the book. I got to read a copy ahead of time. It's wonderful. So thank you so much for being here. And everybody, I will see you next week.
Yes. Thank you so much, Becky, for everything you're doing for your community. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you for listening to the Response Able Parenting Podcast. If you like what you heard, please take a moment to rate, review, and subscribe. If you know someone who would benefit from this podcast, I'd be honored if you'd share this episode with them. Until next time, know that you are enough, you are capable, you've made it through all of your hardest days, and we will keep growing on this parenting journey together. This podcast was produced by Kim Kelty and myself, Siggie Jennings, and edited by the Kelty Method, Branding and Podcasting.